Hi YouTubers! I thought today I would do a little cooking video for you. Something a little different. I thought I would show you guys how I make an American potato salad. And I'm going to do an egg potato salad, which, as you know, I live on a chicken farm, so why not use these beautiful farm fresh local organic eggs. Let me get my iced tea out of there. Okay, so basically I'm going to choose some nice big delicious fresh organic eggs. I'm going to make a pretty good size potato salad for Mother's Day. My family's coming over tomorrow, so I'm probably going to use about 5 eggs. So let me choose 5 good size eggs. These all look pretty good. So I put them in the pan, and I'm going to add cold filtered water, and then I'm going to salt the water, and I'm going to boil them for 13 minutes. That's how I do it. There's lots of different ways to make hard-boiled eggs. On this stove, I like to do it for, bring it up to a boil them for 13 minutes. So when those are done, we'll go to the next step. Okay, so for an American potato salad, an egg potato salad, it's very similar to a German potato salad. The difference is the spices and the flavors, but pretty much it's very close to a German potato salad. What I have here is 7 very large red potatoes. Now red potatoes are nice for potato salad because they're very thin skinned and they're very, as you know, the skin is full of vitamins and minerals. So what I like to do is not take all the skin off, but take most of the skin off. Make sure they're really super clean. I scoop out any eyes or anything on here that, you definitely don't want to eat anything like that, So scoop out your eyes. Make sure you have nice, really clean, thin skin. And then what I like to do is I'm going to take off most of it, but I like to leave some of the red skin on there. It adds to the look of the potato salad. It adds to the flavor, but not too much. And I'll give you an example of what I'm going to do. These are really big. Normally I buy little red potatoes for this salad, but for some reason they weren't at my grocery store this time, so I had to get the extra large ones, which it's the same potato. The flavor is going to be the same. It's just a little different. They're bigger, so I can use less potatoes. So give you an example there. I'm just taking off quite a bit of the skin, and this again can be to your preference. Do you like more skin? Do you like less skin? Sometimes I make it with no skin at all, but with these red potatoes I do like to leave a little bit on like that. So that's a good example. So there's not a whole lot, but that gives you an idea of how much skin I'll take off, and then I'll show you the next step. So while you're preparing your potatoes for the salad and you're peeling them and you're removing any eyes, get your water going. I have a nice big pot of fresh, clean, cold water. I add a big pinch of salt in there and bring that water to a boil. Okay, so we've got our potatoes all peeled and ready to go. I like to get a nice sharp knife. This might be a little bit overkill. It's a big knife, but it's sharp and it makes it easy for me. So what I like to do is find the length of the potato. I cut that in half once, like that. Then I cut it in half again, each piece. And then I cut that piece into thirds. And that gives you, in my opinion, nice big chunks. I like a big chunk for my potato salad, but really it's up to you. Do you like bigger ones, smaller ones? I like them about that size. That's probably bigger than you would get at the deli. That's how my family and I have always had them and like them. You have to cook them carefully because they take a little bit longer to cook when they're big, like this. Sometimes if they're really big, I'll go again like that. Like this one might be too big. I kind of eyeball it, but you get the idea. You basically just want to make them as big as you and your family like. So I'm going to cut each potato and get them all cut up to size. And when the water is at a nice rolling boil, then I put my potatoes in. Now, it's not the same as cooking for mashed potatoes. You don't want to overcook your potato. And that is a big mistake that I made early on many, many times when I first started cooking many years ago, is I would overcook the potatoes, and it was kind of a running joke in my family about how how my potato salad used to be a lot like mashed potato salad. And that's not what you want. So to avoid that, what I do is at 10 minutes, after cooking for 10 minutes in salted boiling water, I take out a big chunk of a potato and I test it with a fork. If it's still hard as a rock, I know I still have a few more minutes of cooking. If the fork slides in easily and out and it's a little bit soft, that's just about where I want it. Okay, so I've assembled my onion, my bowl, my vinegar. Now here's the part that's a lot like a German potato salad. German potato salad has more vinegar than an American potato salad. So it's a little bit tangier. The mayonnaise, the sauce that goes into the potato salad, and it's not really a sauce, but the mayonnaise mixture is a little bit runnier in a German potato salad, whereas in an American egg potato salad, it's a little bit thicker, and we do things a little bit differently. So here's what we do differently. So you take one big onion. You can use a red onion, a Spanish onion, whatever kind of onion you like. This is just a regular yellow onion. So what I do is I cut the end off. I've already peeled it. I cut it in half. Cut it down the center here in half. And then I kind of follow the lines on the onion. And basically what we want to do is just give it a good chop. Like so. Okay, then we'll go this way. I am not a professional chef, so you're not going to see me do things like a professional chef. This is a grandma style cooking in America. This is how an American housewife or an American mom, grandmother makes potato salad. Not a Michelin chef, obviously. And for the Michelin chefs out here that watch this video cringing, I apologize. For nothing. No, I'm just kidding. This is just how it's done here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm giving it a nice chop. They're not perfectly uniform, and that's okay. Now you have to decide, do I want to use this whole onion? Do I want to use half of the onion? I started with a really big onion. So for my family that's not crazy about onions, I'm only going to do this much, and I'm going to put this in a little baggie and save it for another dish. So now the next step is take some vinegar, and you can measure it out. I never measure it out, but I'm going to do that for you today just to show you about how much we're going to need. So you want regular distilled white vinegar. Do not use apple cider vinegar. It will change the whole flavor of this. You don't want to use that. So white vinegar, there's 1 tablespoon, a little over 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons. Let's see how that does. I think I'm going to want 4. And the good news is I'm not going to keep all of this vinegar in my potato salad. What I'm doing is I'm going to let these onions soak in the vinegar on my counter the whole time that my potatoes and eggs are finishing cooking. So I just set that aside, and I'm going to leave that there basically to soak up all that vinegar. Okay? But now, when I get ready to use these onions, I'm actually going to put them on a paper towel and squeeze out as much vinegar as I can. And that's where the big difference comes in with the American style versus the German style. Is we don't want all the vinegar, but we are going to actually add in pickle juice to help, you know, with the difference in the moisture. So we're taking out a lot of the moisture from the vinegar, but we'll re-add it with the pickle juice. So you can tell it's going to be quite a different flavor. Okay, so the eggs are done. I have them draining over here. What I did is I took them out of the boiling water. I ran them under cold water until they cooled down enough where they could be handled. So the next step is you want to very carefully peel your eggs. One thing about farm fresh eggs is they're usually harder to peel, a hard-boiled egg, than a store-bought egg, because the store-bought eggs are usually a lot older. Okay, just clean it up a little bit. Put that aside. Do another egg. I like to leave one egg whole, and the reason being is I like to use it as a little decorative touch on the top of my potato salad. So I usually wait till I peel all the eggs, and then I find one that's still pretty good. I like to bring it over to the sink too and just rinse them off and make sure you get every little last bit of shell. Like I have here on my cutting board. I'm just going to wipe that away. Truth be told, I usually peel these at the sink because I have a garbage disposal, and I let the running water help me, and I apologize that you're not seeing that right now. But that's what's happening over here. Okay, that's done. Last one. So, because this is a potato salad for Mother's Day, I wanted to use a really nice bowl as well. You can use any bowl, obviously. But for special occasions, I like to use this big Waterford crystal bowl. This thing is heavy, beautiful, beautiful bowl. And I like it for potato salad because it's nice and big. So that's what we're going to use. So here are our eggs. I think I found the one that I'm going to keep. It has a little crack in it, but that's okay. So what I like to do, got my little American towel here, red, white, and blue represent. I am going to slice the really pretty egg ever so carefully into nice strips. Okay, let's see if we did it. Aha. And look at how pretty that is. And that just looks so pretty on top of the salad. So I'm just going to put these aside very carefully so I can use those at the end. And I might just take one more from another egg here. Oh, see that one? I didn't like that one, so we're not going to use that one. Maybe from the middle. We'll take a little thin one from the middle. Yeah, that one I think I can use. Okay, so the rest of the egg, we're just going to chop up. Again, this is to your preference. Do you like big chunks of hard-boiled eggs in your salad? Or do you like little bits? Keeping with the theme of bigger is better in my American egg potato salad, I'm going with the bigger chunks. I like to see it in the salad. I like how, you go to take a bite and there's a whole chunk of nice egg on there. I mean, it could have something to do with the fact that I'm an egg farmer, a chicken farmer. I don't know. We like our eggs here, so we're not afraid of showing them. and having them extra chunky in our salads. Whoops, now the dog gets one. As soon as he comes in the room, he's going to find that egg, and he's my little vacuum cleaner. Okay, so there we go. The timer's going off, so that means I'm going to check my potatoes for the first 10-minute check. So, I checked the potato at 10 minutes, and it's just right. It's not so cooked that it's mashed. You want it so the fork goes in, but it's still solid. And that's nice. And I take one out and I take a bite of it, and I know just by the way it tastes and feels in my mouth if it's how I like it. You want to err on the side of undercooking it than overcooking it, because when you go to mix it up in your bowl, you will have a big mashed mess if it's overcooked. There is a little trick you can do if you do overcook your potatoes. If you find you take it out and oh my God, they're too mushy, take them out, put them in your strainer, drain them well, and then put them in another bowl and stick them in your freezer. And don't get them so they're frozen, but put them in there for like 10 minutes so they firm up, and then go ahead and mix it into your salad, and it will kind of save you from ruining your whole salad. So next we're going to drain the potatoes, and then we'll start assembly. Okay, so the potatoes are draining here on this towel, and I rinsed them in really cold water, and I made sure that they were nice and cool. You don't want them to keep, because they will keep cooking if they remain hot. So get your potatoes cooled down as fast as you can, and then set them aside to drain. I have them draining here in a strainer on a towel. And the next thing I'm going to do is get my wet ingredients. Now, in the past, I would mix everything in the bowl I was going to serve it in. But I have learned over the years that makes a big mess, so I don't do that anymore, especially when you have such a pretty bowl. You don't want to mess it all up. So now what I'm going to do, excuse all the noise, is get a bowl just to mix all the ingredients for assembly. But remember those onions? We've got to get the vinegar out of those onions. We don't want to rinse it in water because we don't want all of the vinegar out of the onions. We just want most of it. So first I'll bring it to the sink and just by hand pour out, the majority of it. And then I just dump it on the towel, like so, get all the onions out. Okay, it's going to smell like vinegar. And I just give it a good squeeze. Like I said, we want some to remain. We just don't want it to be overpowering. So that's it. And then I dump my onions into the bowl. There we have that. Okay, so now we're going to start putting in the rest of our ingredients. And it would be really funny if I didn't have mayonnaise right now, wouldn't it? And you know why. Because you can't make American potato salad without Hellmann's mayonnaise. And don't give me that Miracle Whip stuff. I don't know if you're from the UK or somewhere and you've never heard of Miracle Whip, but it's disgusting and you should never put it in potato salad. And I'm going to get some comments on that because I'm sure some of you like Miracle Whip. I do not. Okay. So back to assemblage. Let's get a little... I like to use a wooden spoon, and this is an old, well-used wooden spoon, as you can tell, but you know what? It works really good. Why do I like wooden spoon for potato salad? Because it's soft. If you use a metal spoon, you're going to cut into your potatoes and your eggs, and it's going to help to make it mushy. We don't want mushy. We want it nice and pretty. So we've got our onions that were soaked in vinegar. Next, we're going to put our pickle juice. Now, I just dump a little bit in, not a lot. I got a peppercorn in there, so I'm going to fish that out. Nobody wants to bite on a hard peppercorn. All right. So next we're going to use some celery salt. And I like to just give a few shakes of it, not too much. Then we're going to use some dill. Now, a lot of times I have fresh dill from my garden. This is not, unfortunately. I used it all up. So I have about that much dill. I'd say about a teaspoon of dill. It's a strong spice, so you may not like that much. I like that much. I would say do a quarter of a teaspoon if you're new to that spice, because it's very strong. Now I have some dried thyme, and you can see, like again, I have probably a little less than a teaspoon in my hand. I like to crush it up. That's actually releasing the essential oils in the herb, the dried herb, and it makes it a little bit stronger. Okay, next we have parsley. So parsley, you can use fresh too if you have it, but if you use fresh, you're going to want to use more, because believe it or not, fresh is less flavorful than dried. Dried herbs are more concentrated. So I have a good tablespoon of parsley in there. And then, here's a little secret ingredient. Grey Poupon. And I like to get probably a good heaping teaspoon of Grey Poupon. Okay. Now salt, we can't forget salt. I have my little crock here of salt, and I'm going to put, 2 pinches, probably a teaspoon of salt. Again, you adjust that to taste, however you personally like it. Then I have fresh cracked pepper. I'm going to give that, again, it's to taste, so I'm just doing it by eyeball. Last, I'm going to put, this is some spicy smoked paprika from Hungary. This is the good stuff. Not the El Cheapo stuff that doesn't have the flavor. So go easy on that if you use smoked paprika, because that's a strong flavor as well. Okay, so we've got our onions, our pickle juice, our Grey Poupon. Now for the mayonnaise. Now, here's where you have to be careful, because this is about ratios. You don't want so much that it's too much, but you want enough where it's going to perfectly coat everything. I usually start with about 2 or 3 big heaping teaspoons or tablespoons. So I'll call that 3 tablespoons. Now I'm mixing up all my wet ingredients like this separately from the potatoes and eggs in a separate bowl, like I said, because if I were to do this all at once in one big bowl, there's a good chance that I could mash up my eggs and mash up my potatoes. But by doing it separately like this, I don't run that risk, and I can really control the flavors. Okay, so that looks by eye just about right, but I'm going to take my teaspoon here and try a little bit of the flavor. And I know right away, very strong on the dill, and it needs sugar. Sugar in a potato salad? Say what? Yep. So I've got my little scooper of sugar. I'm probably going to put a whole teaspoon of sugar in there, maybe a little bit more. Yes, sugar in potato salad. Sweet and salt. Tangy and herby. Those are the flavors that we're going for. And it's just, it's a marriage of these flavors, but you get them to where you like them. This is for you and your family. You have to adjust things to how you like them. There's no right or wrong when it comes to flavors. Wow. This is amazing. I wish you guys could taste how good that is. It's really, really good. That's just about where I want it. Wow. That is delicious. Okay. So we're going to set that aside. Now we're ready for our nice bowl. So I think what I'm actually going to do is mix it in the stainless steel bowl first. So I'm going to put my potatoes in, like so. And then I'm going to put my chopped up egg, like so. And then we're just going to lightly fold it in. We're not stirring, we're not mixing, we're literally going down to the bottom and turning over. Down to the bottom and turning over. Use a wooden spoon if you can. Like a spatula might work okay. Like a plastic one. If you didn't have a wooden spoon, a plastic spoon would be better than a metal spoon. But just try not to use a metal spoon because you don't want to chop up your potatoes. Look at how nice that looks. Some people add carrots to this. Some people add celery. That, again, is a personal preference. I usually don't add carrots or celery to my egg potato salad. I just don't think it's necessary. Like I use a little bit of the celery salt for the flavor. Look at that. Is that not beautiful and perfect? I don't need any more mayonnaise, so 3 heaping tablespoons was plenty, but now don't forget I had 7 big potatoes. You may not want to make this vast amount of potato salad, but I'm cooking for a lot of people. So this is good. That looks beautiful. So now we're going to put it in a really pretty bowl. Let's move that. Let's get our bowl ready. Nice and clean. Let's get that nice in the shot there. Okay, so now all we have to do is very carefully dump it in without getting the sides all messy. You're going to see how pretty this is going to look if I can do this without making a mess, because that's what we're trying to do. Get it in the bowl, nice and clean, like so. Look at, see what I mean with a little bit of the red skin showing through? I just think that makes it look so pretty. Gives it a little color. And actually I could have left a little bit more red on than I did. Normally I do. Okay. So that looks pretty good. The next thing I want to do is I want to get back to that paprika. And because this is spicy, I'm going to put it in my hand first and just lightly sprinkle some on. There you go. And now I want to do the same with the parsley. And this just gives it a little, just doesn't that look good? I mean, it adds to the flavor, but it just makes it look really nice too. And then the eggs, I just kind of make a little decorative centerpiece, like so. Doesn't have to be anything fancy, although you could if you wanted to. This just kind of indicates that it's an egg potato salad, and who would not want to eat that? And you know, that's not the prettiest one I've ever made, but that's not bad. And I think what I'm going to do is just take a little tiny bit of paprika and just sprinkle that on top of my eggs there like that. And there you have it. There is an all-American, ready for Mother's Day, ready for summertime, even though it's not summertime yet, it's spring. But it's good for spring too. We're going to have a cookout tomorrow. Hopefully the weather will be good. And for all you moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a nice, relaxing, happy Mother's Day. Thanks, guys. Till next time. Take care.